Welcome to Edge of the Rabbit Hole. Thank you for joining us again for another great week. Really excited about our guest tonight, Bernice Golden, who has, she's a world-renowned international psychic medium. She's been doing this for decades. And we were just chatting before the show. I had already had a bunch of laughs. So we know this is going to be a good one. And, it's going to be something you guys really enjoy. So I'm Mike Ricksecker, of course. I'm here with my co-host, Vanessa Hogle, our chat Shananigator, Shana down in the chat room, shaking it up down there, and of course our guest, Bernice Golden. So thank you everybody again for joining us tonight. Go ahead, Vanessa. Say hi.
I did. I sure did. You know what? No one can mess it up like I can. I'll tell you that right now. Go ahead, Matt.
That's all right. We already have a bunch of people in the chat room before the show, so a couple shout-outs to Andrew Cox, Tammys Bird, Lynn's YSC, Emma Betch is down in there already, so thank you everybody for joining. I know there are already some others as well. Of course, we have Ghosty with us again this evening. He's the mascot of Paranormal Media. Check him out on paranormalmedia.com. But we have another thing that we just launched a couple days ago that I just want to bring your guys' attention to real quick. And that is, where did I put it? I'll put it on this tab. Okay. I forgot to label it, but it's there. Okay. And then we have a new Patreon page. And so that is another method with which we can communicate with you guys. And basically that is, you go, there's all kinds of other blog posts, behind-the-scenes videos, things like that. And there's a whole donation feature. So kind of like what we were talking last week with the super chat stuff. You guys were kind of wondering what that was. Patreon's another way to do that. So kind of use you guys supporting us, we're supporting you, and that type of community building there. So that is an option now. Go ahead and check it out. And let us know what you think. It's something that a couple of different people have kind of approached me about and said, hey, Mike, why don't you have this in place? So there we go. Now it's in place. So that would be patreon.com/HaunterRoadMedia. Yeah.
I hate to interrupt,
go ahead.
But Shana is saying that there's actually a lot of echo going on right now. And I can't hear it. Bernice, can you hear an echo, hon? No. Yeah. It's perfectly clear to us, so. Yeah. Okay.
So is anybody else? Okay, I mean, Shana's saying that, but is anybody else besides Shana experiencing that right now? They are saying echo back feed.
And we're not hearing it at all.
What about now? So, and there's a little bit of a delay. So I just hit one thing. Let's see if it changes anything. Said yep, echo. No, it's very echoey. Feedback.
Tammy said. Sure.
Okay, and then better. Tammy says better.
Tommy Babes said that there's no more echo. And says,
Joanne is saying you good now, fix better. Okay. All right, there we go. So go figure that. I put in a shorter intro so we get right into the show, and then we get delayed anyway for a technical glitch. Okay. So there we go.
What a bit how the song was going. Oh my goodness.
One other thing that I wanted to give a shout out to before we jump into the show, and I don't have any of the details, but I know that it's going to be talked about, I guess, later this week. But did catch wind that the Bel Air House has received an investor to help with that situation. So Kristen Lee's dilemma with the Bel Air House and losing that. no longer going to be a problem. So she's going to have, I guess, a bunch of details on Friday, from what I understand. So really, a big congratulations to them. I know that was a big mess there for a while, and the possibility of losing that was a big concern. So we just hope, keeping our fingers crossed, that somebody will come out of the woodwork like that for the Goldenrod Showboat. We're still holding out for that. So yeah, that's my news update.
Bernice, everybody else is saying hi to you.
Yes. So all right, well, let's go ahead and get to Bernice. Let's jump into it. Let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about her. This is the bio from her website. For decades, international psychic Bernice Golden has been a shining light of credibility in a field overrun with less than reputable individuals. Through the years, she has used her psychic abilities to help dozens of multinational corporations plan their strategies. She's volunteered with many federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies, assisting in searches for missing people, as well as assisting with investigations of difficult-to-solve crimes. Individually, she has counseled tens of thousands of people using their future to help them cope with their existing situations. So without further ado, we welcome Bernice Golden. Welcome, Bernice.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I understand that this is going to be quite a good show. No, psychically, I can tell you this will be a great show. Yeah.
Well, we're very happy to hear that, aside from technical glitches. So, Bernice,
thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, Bernice, before the show started, you were telling us a little bit about how you began, your beginnings. So, can you, for our audience, let them know how you got started as a psychic?
Well, I was 4 years old, and my grandmother lived with us. She was an invalid, and she was a Cherokee Indian, and she had all the old rituals and the learnings of spiritualism. And she would sit with me every day and tell me stories and how to learn to use what God had given me. And it was wonderful. It was just wonderful. The stories meant so much. I remember all of them. And she taught me first by looking at pictures. What did I see? What did I sense? And her name was Lulu. She's shown in my book that I had written, A Million Miles to a Psychic's Through a Psychic's Shoes. And by the time I was 19, a friend of mine had said, you have a beautiful gift. Why not use it? Well, she set up a program for me to do on radio. And I was so scared. And I did that. And off and running. That started my career. And I have accomplished over 22,000 TV and radio shows in North America since. And that includes doing a lot of my seminars, my lectures. I had my own show in many, many stations throughout the East Coast and the West. I've done many, many things with my life. And I'm very proud of it. And I would do it all over again, no matter what I had gone through. And, people think, oh my gosh, she does readings and she does all of this and all of that. But let me tell you, it's not easy work. There's a lot to it, but it's worth it. It's worth every bit of it. That's for sure. And I do many different types of readings, and like I said, the seminars, and I do everything. It doesn't matter what it is. I'll do it. I'll tackle it. And if I haven't done it, I'm going to learn how to do it. That's about what it amounts to.
Now, I have to tell you that Mike and I were talking when we brought you on, and then you confirmed what you had done with the corporations, and I have to admit, I am unbelievably fascinated by that. Because, the police work and everything is wonderful, and I love you about that, and about the readings, but the fact that corporations that tend to be so starchy and, unforgiving, would actually want, a sensitive's help with that. And can you elaborate more on that?
Well, the corporations and industries, naturally, many years ago, would have never looked at a psychic. But in the latter part, I say, of the last 20 years, they have come more and more to the realization that psychics just might have the answer to many questions. For example, I've worked with a company that designed washing machines. And it sounds like such a little thing. It's nothing. A washing machine? Well, this gentleman called me and asked me how he was going to do with his company. And I proceeded, because I do telephone readings from all over the world. And we went into his company a little bit. And I said, okay. I said, I see a square piece of steel. And I saw this. I saw a lid. And I said, oh, it looks like a washing machine. He said, that's what I do. I have a washing machine company. And I proceeded to tell him that there was something wrong with the lid that he was designing, because I felt a new washing machine. And he said, wait a minute. He said, are you sure you know what you're talking about? And he was laughing. And I said, well, I know that something is blue and it's plastic and it's on the inside of the lid, but it needs to be turned around in order for it to work. You have the technical part of it in the wrong angle. Well, needless to say, there was more to that. But he called me back about 2 hours later. He went to his technical department. He called back, and he said, would you like to be put on a retainer? he said,
nice.
Just saved me millions of dollars. Naturally, I didn't get $1 million, but he found his way in his avenue. And I was with him for about 10 years. But, you know, again, people look at me and they think, oh my gosh, I make millions and millions of dollars. What people don't know is that I charge for my readings. Of course I do. I make a living that way. But what people don't realize is that 60% of my work is criminal, crime, police departments. I work with missing children, murderers, narcotics, just about everything. And if I have to fly to Florida, California, to find the body or the suspect, I have paid for everything. I don't charge it, because I will never put a price on life and death. Never.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, what she just said, folks, and that's, Bernice, I'm so happy you brought that up, because I think people think the same things about Mike and I, you know, because we're both authors, like yourself, and everyone thinks, oh, you've got 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 or whatever books, you must make a ton of money. No, you don't. First, no, you don't. And secondly, you know, like I'm leaving next month, and I'm actually flying to New Jersey to drive to Staten Island to work on a 35-year-old missing persons case. My dime.
That's right.
A bit of it, my money.
You're doing it right. You're doing it right. Like I said, don't put a price on life and death. And you'll always win.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people realize that every bit of investigating that Mike does, I mean, that's on his own dime.
Yeah, I've been driving, on my own dime everywhere, and people know that I've been traveling all over the place these last couple of years, much more so than I had been beforehand, and
sure.
Yeah, it's a sacrifice, but, it's worth it. It's something you believe in, it's a passion, and, we definitely see that passion with you, Bernice.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sure that there are certain parts of cases that you can't comment on, because I know the sensitivity of it. But can you tell us what the one was that just hit you in the heart the most?
Working on children is one of the most difficult things I've done. Working on the murders of children. And it tears me up. It tears me up. And I'll never forget those little faces till the day I die. But I do that so that the murderer, because I go after the murderer, if I have to go through a swamp for 38 hours, which I've done, to chase one down, I'll do it. And because I don't want them doing it again. But I'd say the most heartwarming job that I did was a lady had come in to me, and she had a little child on her lap. It was about 2 years old. Was very ill. Now, mind you, I work with doctors. I don't give diagnoses, but the doctors have come to me and asked if I could help them with certain things. But she brought her child in. I knew the doctor, and he asked her to bring the child to me because he was confused. They couldn't find a cure for what was even wrong with the child. And I looked at her, and I couldn't think of anything. But I grabbed a paper and pen, And I just started writing. I just wrote. And I wrote the longest word I have ever seen in my life. And I couldn't make sense of it at all. But I said, here's this paper. Would you please take this back to Ralph and tell him this is what I wrote, but it makes no sense to me. Give it to him. Now, this child had approximately less than 6 months to live. Wow. So she took the paper back, and he called me within a few days and said the word that I had written was a very rare disease that only occurred like in India. And he said, we have saved the child. That was the greatest job I had ever done in my life. The greatest. And she is now 22 years old.
Oh, wow.
That's beautiful.
Damn it, Bernice.
That had to come from God. That had to come from God because nobody could do that. Nobody.
That is amazing. And as wonderful as it is to do something like that, and in any way of helping somebody, as fabulous as that is, it takes a toll on you. Now, have you noticed that the deeper you have to delve into something like that, whether it be a missing persons case or a murder case or an illness, have you noticed that one takes a little bit more out of you than the other, or I know it's hard, or is it just kind of across the board tough?
Well, let me mention first, though, in that book that I had written, 1,000,000 Miles in a Psychic's Shoes, and that can be purchased at Amazon.com. There's many stories in there. It first starts out with part of my life of how I grew up. Many stories that are in there towards that are criminal cases that I have worked on that are documented by the police, law officials, and so forth, who will witness what I have done. They are documented, and they are true. And I will tell you, honey, when you said about, does it take things out of you? I will openly tell you that I have had 28 major surgeries. I am in a wheelchair. I have not walked for years. And I had a brain tumor that took 5 years of my life. I didn't know anybody. I didn't even know who I was. I didn't know my children. I had to be taught to eat. I had to be taught to talk. I had to learn everything all over again. And I found after that, my psychic abilities were twice as strong as they have ever been. Ever been. Truth, I had 37 surgeries, but 28 were made. I had 4 major back surgeries, 3 neck, and a lot more. But I did it. And I prayed to God to help me. And I believe in prayer, and I believe in miracles. I know they're real. I know it. I proved it. I'm here. Live.
Well, and I agree with Bernice, and I've actually done a vlog on this, more so on head injuries. But I truly believe that it's a cycle, and that trauma that we've been dealt, and circumstances that we have to go through, and pain that we have to feel, when we acknowledge the gifts that we have in us, and acknowledge our acceptance of that pain, and realize that we have to go through it in order to help others, I believe that is what makes these gifts stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger.
They do, and I would do it all over again.
Absolutely. No regrets.
I have no problem with that. I would do it all over again. No doubt about it. No.
And it's tough. I don't think people get that.
No. And the thing of it is, I still will do everything. If I have a lecture to do, I have a party to do, I have a guest speaking engagement to do, guess what? I get on my big girl pants and I go.
God, I love you, Bernice. It is
crazy girl.
That just really shows your heart, and that's beautiful. It really is.
Well, thank you. Thank cute.
And that's the way it should be. I want to be you.
I'm me.
You know?
I mean, anybody.
Good. That's what we like. You know, I love the fact that you're balls to the wall, and this is the way it is. And sometimes it's gonna suck, but it's worth it.
I love you guys.
But me and Bernice are just over here having ourselves a little tear fest.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
Well, you know, it's hard not to. Because believe it or not, these are not tears of sadness.
No.
They're tears of happiness that I made it. And I did what I had to do. And I completed my work so far. But I've got a hell of a lot more to go.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. Yeah, you can definitely see the fire within you and the willingness and desire to keep going. It's fantastic.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm thinking of putting another book together, and I've written another book.
Oh, yeah? What's this one going to be about?
The other one is, it's poetry. I don't know.
Well, you do have a poetry book out right now, right?
Yeah, I got 2 books out.
Right. So what can people expect from you? Talked a little bit about the first book. What can people expect from the poetry book?
The poetry book I have written throughout my whole life. It was all my poetry that I had written. And I compiled it and put it together as a book. And it really was fun doing it through my lifetime. I look back at it, and it brings a lot of warmth, comfort, happiness, thought, pleasure, all the emotions that you can imagine. It really does. It's nice. I like what I did. I was proud of myself. Very proud of myself.
You should be. Poetry is difficult to write because it's so emotion-filled.
Yeah, it is.
But when you do what you do, you have those emotions to tap into.
Oh.
You know? Now, I have to ask you, I had a really difficult case that I worked on where the missing person he had Alzheimer's. And so the memories the messages I was getting were 20 to 30 years apart in memory. Have you ever had anything like that to where you honestly had no idea what the hell you were doing? You were just telling everything that they told you.
Yeah. And that's hard to do, honey. It's very hard to do. And the one thing, when you get onto a cold case, you have to be very careful that you don't draw yourself back in that time yourself. You take just your mind. Don't take your heart. You're not going to be. You're not going to be able to come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
Only take your mind and your psychometry. That's all you take. Your heart. With your heart.
See, you already warned me.
Pardon?
I said you're already warning me, and you don't even know the person I'm going to look for. Bless you, Bernice.
It's going to be a toughie.
Yeah.
Tough. And remember, the number 7 is going to be very important. The initial C is going to be very important. And there are 2 people that are on the outside of this. Remember that.
You've pretty much just repeated what I have told one of the people I'm investigating with. Yeah.
Remember that. Okay?
Yes. Mike, I love her. She's got to come on again too. Okay.
I'm just really enjoying watching the interaction between you two.
Thank you.
She's wonderful, and they just love you in the chat, honey.
Oh yeah, the chat room loves you, Bernice, and Vanessa. I don't know if you saw, but they're like, we can see Vanessa here, like a few years down the road.
Oh my gosh, I know she's good. She's really good.
Yeah.
I love all you guys. I really do. You're great. You're great.
You.
No doubt. No doubt.
When
Okay.
Did she cut out, Vanessa?
Yeah, she cut out here.
Okay, well, I guess hopefully we'll get her back here in a minute. There she is. You all right,
I would
Vanessa?
love to know. Yeah, I love it when it stops on the weird face.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
Yeah. No, I was curious. I would love to know what Bernice has on her plate next.
Oh, definitely.
Oh my God. Let's see. I have got a gallery to do with Chelsea Gill, and that's coming up soon. It's already sold out. And I have a seminar coming up in September 24th. And it'll be quite a seminar, and that's in North Tonawanda, New York. And I have another book that I'm starting, and I have another one possibly, if I decide to do it or not. I have a psychic fair coming up that in North Tonawanda, New York. And I have, oh my God, I have so many, I can't even think. I got more shows to do, more listing. All you have to do is go to my Facebook. Well, my Facebook is jammed. I'd say
right.
So we have the legendary psychic Bernice Golden fan page.
Right.
There, you can find that.
I'm going to be
Now, did I read correctly somewhere that you have your own weekly show or that you do?
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. I'm doing so many things. I should have a piece of paper with me saying what I'm doing. I do readings too, by the way. Okay. I have my office here in Lockport, New York, and I do telephone readings, like I said, from all over the world. And my show is on Monday nights at Paranormal Warehouse at 8 p.m. And we have a great time. We have a real fun time with that. That's from 8 to 9:30.
Great.
And then, like I said, I have a lot of other shows going on. I don't even remember where they're all at.
Well, we do have a question from the chat room.
Yeah.
And this is from X-Group Home Kid, and he'd like to know, what type of support do you find helpful?
Support? Love.
That's sweet.
And people. That's what I like. And that helps.
Love and people. That's very sweet.
Thank God.
I like
Thank
that.
God. That's quite a...
Yeah.
That's quite
We just all went silent at that.
Have you had trouble with...
all I need.
Yeah. Have you had...
Really? What?
Okay, you both kind of talked over each other, and Vanessa, you cut out in the middle of your question.
By people.
I couldn't hear her.
Yeah. Vanessa?
Can y'all hear me okay?
No, you were cutting out.
Can you hear me okay
so
now?
we knew you were trying to ask something, but you were cutting out. So you want to go ahead and try it again?
Yes, sir. Yes, please. I was wanting to know if Bernice has found it tough in your life, Bernice, to have people again for what you do. Not the general public, but those closest to you. Do you have trouble with
them not liking what I do? Is that what you're saying?
Having a hard time with it. Yeah, having a hard time with it.
I don't get upset with it. I feel sorry for them. I feel they're really missing out a lot. That they should try to understand it. At least try. And if you can't then there's really nothing much I can do. But try to understand. Because they have the ability too. Everybody has intuition to one degree or another, and it's a matter of how you develop it. But if you don't understand something, you shouldn't put somebody down just because they have a different opinion. But
that's true.
Some people that are now. And you're so what's that, honey?
You're so smart. I hope that everybody's listening to you. I really do, because it's tough. People can be really mean. They can be really mean about this. You're so tough.
Oh, I'm not tough, honey. I'm just me. I'm just like everybody else. I do a lot of medium work also, and I work with spirit entity and that type of thing. And I had a lady in here today, and I want to mention this because I know there's at least 3 people out there that need to hear this. She had lost her child. And she was in tears. And I know what it feels like because I lost a son 5 years ago. And, I had people come to me and say, you're going to be fine because in time you forget. That was like having a slap in the face. And this poor lady, I looked at her and I told her, I said, you'll never forget. You just don't. And I know these 3 people out there that need to hear this. Dear God, you'll never forget. You remember that.
It's very true. I have one child. I have my 14-year-old son. He is a blessing. I've lost 6 babies. I've had 6 miscarriages. And he's the only one that I had that lived. He was my last one. There was no chance of any other children after him. And I can tell you the exact days I lost all 6 of my kids.
Yeah. You do not forget.
No.
So anybody,
and it angers me when people,
On that note, we do have somebody in the chat room with a related question. This is from Patty Michael for Bernice. She said she'd like to know if her youngest daughter will conceive. She's having some difficulties with it.
Oh. Yes, she will.
Okay.
Now, there's going to be trouble, though, for a little bit yet. But eventually, yes.
Okay, well, that's good news. A little trouble along the way, but she will.
Okay. Eventually, yes, and I like that. I feel very comfortable with that.
Okay.
Good.
So that's good. Good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, hey, Mama Joe Buffalo Woman, which is Joni Mitchell, she has a question. And she's just asking if there are any messages from Spirit for her.
I couldn't hear any of that. I couldn't hear any of it, honey.
Okay, let me try because I see the question. Mama Joe Buffalo, who's Joni Mitchell in our chat, she wants to know if there's any messages from Spirit for her.
Okay, let's see if we can get that. There's a special, important mail coming to you somewhere mid-September. It's to be carefully taken care of, and it's something to your benefit, and it's good. And you have several spirit with you, and I like that. Very, very good, by the way. There's a young person with you, and I like that. There's a younger woman. I like that too. You have a couple more, but you got some good spirit around you. I like that. Good luck. And always remember, Spirit is there to help you and guide you and give you directions. And most of the time, they're not going to give you a message. All they're trying to do is say, I'm here, pay attention to me. That's all. They just want you to know they're there for you.
Yes. We have a very good question, one I want the answer to as well, because I always get stumped on this one, Bernice.
Okay.
Ether Shadow is asking, when you have a consult with a client and their loved ones do not come through in spirit, what is your best advice when expectations are not met?
That's a great question.
That's a great question.
Yeah, great question, Ether Shadow. Thank you for that.
Yeah, because really, it's true. Spirit doesn't always want to give a message.
Right.
They don't. They're there because they're trying to help you, or they want to just let you know they're there. That's all. They may have nothing to say. And that's what I try to tell people. They just want to be there. And they may be with you all the time. You don't know that. And the worst thing you can do is make up a story to make it sound good. And I know some psychics that do that, and you don't do that. That's the worst thing to do. Mm-hmm. People want to really hear the truth. But if it doesn't meet their expectations, what I tell people is I'm very sorry that I couldn't find the spirit you're looking for. And if you need to, go to someone else and see if they can find it for you. And explain to them you're not God.
Now let me ask you this, because there are times when spirit will come to me, when whoever is wanting the information, right, they'll come to me. I can draw them out, I can tell them what to wear and everything, but they have got the zipper over their mouth. They will not talk. And that has actually angered people when I can explain what the person looks like, what they're wearing, how they died, what their name is, where they live, everything else, but there's no message. And I try to tell them the messages, they're there. They don't have to talk to you.
When you do a reading, do you use psychometry?
Bernice, don't laugh at me, darling, but I don't even know what that is. They just...
Psychometry is where you take a piece of an object, or a car key, a ring, a watch, anything that's theirs to hold on to. And you place it between your finger and your thumb. And you hold it there. And you rotate it in your finger and your thumb. Their energy is on that thing, whatever they have given to you. And their energy will be transferred to you. And that energy is then transferred to you through your chakras and through your crown chakra and your third eye to give you the message that you need. And
I've done that.
And they may start talking. So hold on to an object of theirs.
Now, I have done that, but 9 times out of 10, they just come and sit in my living room. And they'll just be like, hey. So I draw them out, I write out what they say and stuff, and I just put it on social media and say, anybody got any takers? Because they're here.
It's true.
You know, and people message me with the actual photographs. And they're identical. But they don't got nothing to say.
And that's when you just have to say, I'm sorry, you're going to have to. That's all you got to do.
All right. Bernice, we have another question from the chat room. This one is from Tammys Bird. She says, I never ask, but is there something, or is there anything from my grandmas? Both passed on the same day on January 31st, 2 hours apart. And she hopes that they're okay.
They're very comfortable and very much at peace. And there was a child with them. And that's beautiful. I like that. And they're together. That's interesting.
Wow.
I like that too. And there's a man with them who's on the shorter side with white hair and a little pot belly and suspenders. And there's a mark on the side of his face. And they're all happy and they're all at peace. And I'm not too sure who... Richard or Dick is, but watch that. It's good. Good.
Fantastic.
Here's a ride, Johnny. Good luck.
Thank you for that. So I think we had another one from Donna Gorton. And part of this you had already asked, and that was the age that you started experiencing your gifts. You said 4 years old. But she also wanted to know how you coped back in the day when things weren't as open as they are now.
It was really, really tough. I had no friends at all. I was the weird one. I was the strange one. Now, I got to tell you something else. I was the only kindergartner that got suspended for 3 days.
Oh, wow. In kindergarten, you got suspended for 3 days.
Wow. I knew what the teacher was thinking, and I didn't like it, so I kicked the desk over, and I got suspended for 3 days, yes. But it was hard. It was really hard growing up. Like I never had a friend. Nobody ever wanted to talk to me or be with me because I was strange.
Right.
That was.
I would have been your
That's a shame because I missed out on such a wonderful person.
And my mother never wanted to come near me. My mother was petrified.
Really?
My dad was really wide open to it. He loved it. But my mom, even after I was married, would call me and say, "Don't tell me anything. Just how are you and the kids?" Well, I mean, she was scared to death.
Wow.
Scared to death. But my gosh, by the time I was about 4 years old, it was right after my grandma was teaching me that I was going to my mom and dad and telling them there was going to be a fire. There's a fire. There's a fire. Mm-hmm. And I went on and scared to death to go to bed. And it was and my mom would just, "Don't say that. Don't say that." And 2 weeks later, there was a fire in our bedroom.
Wow.
And a year after that, I kept seeing a big tire, and I kept crying. It was a big tire. And it was a little while later, I can't remember exactly when, but I was run over by a car, and I was in the hospital for a month and a half with a hematoma, and I couldn't walk. So my parents were really very scared of me. Not my dad, but my mom. Oh, yeah. So I had an interesting life growing up. But it's okay. I learned a lot.
Well, and here you are today. So it looks like everything turned out pretty well.
Turned out wonderful. That's for sure.
Really you don't have any regrets, do you?
Not a bit.
I love it.
Did your mom ever warm up at all to it? At all? Ever?
Oh.
No? Never? Wow.
Oh no. It bothers me when I look at people and they're so sad and they're so down, and yet they have everything.
Right.
And it's like, God, God's given you so many wonderful things, like your children, your husband, and yet you can't find happiness in that, or love in that, or thankfulness in that, or something that's good. And there's so much that we need to be thankful.
Right.
We need to look to the good for. If we took more time looking to the positive, we would be much happier people. We'd be much more consenting. We would be much more happier as a family. We'd be able to do more with our lives. That's all. It's so simple. We make life complicated. Life is simple. Very simple. Get off our ass and do something.
There you go.
All you gotta do. Simple. Look at it.
I like that. Uh-oh, we lose Vanessa?
We lost Vanessa.
Well, her screen went black there for a second.
I know.
Yeah, I think we lost her. We had another question from Mama Joe. I have to scroll back up to it. She said, if you guys have time for another question, is my mom around? Any message from her?
Watch the leg. Watch the leg. Beware, beware, watch the leg.
Okay. You back with us, Vanessa?
She's stuck.
Yeah, she's stuck. Her picture showed back up.
Absolutely right. I don't know what's going on.
There she is.
There you are. I guess you just don't have a good connection tonight. I don't know. It's that Oklahoma stuff.
I am starting to think that I am going to have to move my computer back into the dining room and risk Ralph. Because ever since I moved it into my bedroom, I've had connection troubles. So I'm just going to have
a little more choppy
do it. And
yep.
Yeah, I have a really
can't hear it.
Yeah, that's
nasty spirited. Yeah.
All right.
Damn.
All
you heard that, didn't you?
Well,
Damn.
Vanessa, while you're trying to get connection to hopefully restore nicely. We have a question from Jody Brewer. She says, I'm an empath. How do I shut it down when in a hospital or in the presence of negative energy?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good question.
First of all, you have your aura. That will naturally exist about 4 foot 6 inches from the body itself. It has its 7 layers, and those layers change every minute second because your mind is changing every minute second. But the aura can help protect. You look to the colors of what the better colors are, which would be naturally your yellow, your red, orange is the healing colors for healing. The yogas use that for the healing energies. Now put them in, look up, by the way, the layers and their meanings. I don't have time to go into all of them tonight. And put those colors in the layers and protect yourself. Cover yourself. Use your third eye to bring in the prana, P-R-A-N-A, not prana, prana. That's a feeling when you bend over and you get up real fast and you see those little white dots in front of your eyes. That's energy, prana. You pull that prana into you and up through your crown chakra and come down through your whole body and cover it. And that will protect you. So, but you have to practice it and do it through your meditation first and try that. But also, if you're in a real hurry, you're getting caught off guard, and where just somebody's coming past you and you feel the real negativity, just take the prana itself, the white light. That's what they call the white light of protection.
Okay.
And throw that white light around you, totally, real fast. And that.
Now, Bernice, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I have those sparklies all the time. What does that mean?
What's that?
Those little lights, those sparkly lights that you're talking about? I have those all the time. What does that mean?
That's prana, honey. That's energy. That's white light. The white light of protection.
I literally have it 90% of the time. They're all around right here.
That's prana.
That's so cute. I never knew that.
Those are things I teach in my seminar.
Wow. See, this is need to know information. Awesome sauce.
Yes. All right.
I'm a mess. I'm a mess.
You're all good. You're all good.
My nose. That's cool.
Wow.
So it's all the little white sparklies. Is that, did I hear that correct?
Yeah. That's your white light. That's to protect you and whatever. Like you've heard people say, "Oh, I want to protect my dog."
Yeah.
And it's that white light. That's the prana. So it's really easy to do. You just pull them in through your crown or your third eye, and you protect yourself or whoever it is you're trying to protect. That's all.
Ah.
Okay.
Protect your car.
Wow.
Protect whatever you want. It's simple to do. And then when you do that, you have drained your energy. All you have to do is take your thumb, put a thumb on the left side where that hole is by your eye on each side, and then you put your left finger over the top of your nose, right finger over there, and you squeeze together real hard for 7 seconds on, 7 seconds off, 3 times, and that will help bring your energy back into you.
Wow.
Oh, interesting.
That is, I needed to know that.
Yeah, that's definitely new on me. Interesting, okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to try that one of these days.
That's awesome.
And that's really great for headache. Great
Wow.
For nice.
Yeah, that's, go ahead, Mike.
Well, we have a couple personal questions that I do want to get to. And they're kind of back to back here in the chat. First is Tina Olzak. who is asking, is her son's soul safe?
Very, very good. Boy, I'll tell you, top of everything. Wonderful, beautiful, wonderful, beautiful. I like that.
Okay.
After
that sounds good. That sounds good. Nice. The other is from Tammy Heitzman, who says, can you please ask Bernice if my grandpa still comes to check on me?
All the time. That's for sure. I like that. I love that one.
Yeah.
I really do. I like that. Great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy. I like it really well. And he's never going to leave you, so
yeah.
You're stuck with him.
That's awesome.
I don't know who Mark is, but watch for that. It's going to be important.
That's for Tammy?
The one I just did.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you.
Wow. Yeah, I'm going to try that finger thing. I need to do that because I get so harried and so crazy trying to do too many things at one time that I have a difficult time settling myself back in.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I get splintered.
You keep doing that.
I need to do that.
Well, I did have a follow-up question myself on the white light, the white sparkles, because like Shana and I have seen this type of phenomenon on the Goldenrod Showboat, where we're seeing these just little sparkles just flare up here and there. So I don't know if that's the same thing or is that something different?
Now there could be orbs, but orbs are bigger than prana. Like I said, when you bend over and you get up real fast, you see those little white dots in front of your eyes.
Okay.
That's like prana. That's what prana looks like. Orbs are a little bit bigger, and they get bigger. There's different sizes. Orbs are energy or spirit.
Yeah, we've seen that on there before where, there's one that was different. It was like a translucent yellow ball, and that was dancing all over the place. But then we were also seeing like these little tiny, we're calling them twinkles, because they just flash real quick, little quick white bursts of light, and then they're gone.
And that's energy and spirit.
Okay.
That's good. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Well, you have a lot of energy, too. You have very high energy all the way.
Well, thank you. I don't ever claim to have anything. People always tell me that I have more going on than I give myself credit for. But
you do. Your energy level is really up there. Very much so.
Well, thank you.
And you do have to be careful. You got some problems starting with your shoulder. So be careful.
My shoulder?
Yeah.
Okay.
Be careful.
Interesting, because I've had other stuff going on. My shoulder. Okay.
Yeah. But just be careful your shoulder and your knee.
I do have problems with my knee, yeah. That one I already have. Shoulders next? Great.
Shoulders.
I'm sorry?
It'll be in about 2.5, 3 weeks.
2.5, 3 weeks?
Yeah, the shoulder. You're going to have a hard time like lifting it up above the arm.
Oh.
Or the arm up above the shoulder.
No, that's not going to be good. Okay, well, I'll try to prepare for that.
Just be careful. Try to avoid it. Call and tell me I like you.
Yeah.
Might be from all that driving you got to do.
Probably. Oh, yeah. Well, like the other weekend, I was having all kinds of neck and back stuff going on just from sitting in the car so much. So
yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah. So I can see the shoulder associated with all that. Sure. Makes sense.
You'll live.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You got a long way to go.
I'm going to live a long time. I'm trying to make it. Now, and I didn't want to do this, but I'll just throw it out there. I'm trying to make it to 126 because I have this weird thing where I want to see the year 2100. So
127.
127?
Yeah, you were wrong.
Darn, off by a year.
Now, since Mike brought that up, if y'all can hear me, Bernice, about 30 years ago, I saw myself at 85 on these cliffs overlooking the ocean, and I was painting. And I have no doubt in my mind that I'm making it at least to 85. But there was somebody with me. Don't have a flipping clue as to who that is because I attract psychos. So.
It's your husband, honey. It's your husband.
Okay, well, if anyone sees a good one out there, send them my way.
I'll tell you, honey, someone you've been with in a past life, and you'll know the minute you meet him. And that will be it. You're in for some happiness that you cannot even begin to imagine. You've been hurt a lot in the past, but the past is gone. You've got the good coming now. It's going to work better than you think. Really good. You like that.
Yeah, we would really like that. But I have to be honest with you, I don't see it for at least a year and a half.
I figure it's going to be more than about 2.5 years, honey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Things are progressing professionally for me. I have to be settled first.
I say you're looking 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah. It's okay.
Okay.
I'll still be kicking at 48.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. Okay, I have 2 things from the chat room. One, Bernice, Mama Joe Buffalo Woman would like me to tell you Pickles.
That's the guy I do the show with on Monday night. That's Dan Cleese.
Right. Yeah. She said that she had mentioned that on his show. You. Yeah. So and we love Dan here. He's awesome.
I love him, Jeff.
Yeah, he's a great guy. And then Lynn's White is wondering if her dad is around.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
And he's at peace. I love that.
Oh, that's good.
That's really nice, yes.
Yeah.
Very much. Man, I'm picking up the name Norman from somewhere.
I live in Norman.
Yeah, Vanessa lives in Norman.
Pardon?
Vanessa lives in a town called Norman.
Oh, is that where you live? Because I'm picking up the name Norman and I don't know where I'm getting it from.
That's where I live. That's where I'm at right now.
Oh, okay. That's where I'm getting it. All right.
Yeah. Good one. Yeah, because I don't really tell anyone where I live, but I tell you, Bernice, and apparently all the people who are watching. Yeah, I live in Norman.
Okay.
That's awesome.
And then we have...
Like I had to go.
Yeah, she broke up again. And then we have Christy Witt, who says, I just lost my brother and best friend, would like to know if he is still around protecting me.
He'll always be there. Don't ever doubt that. Oh, no. Don't ever doubt that. I feel really strong with that one.
Good.
Definitely. It's really good.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that. Bernice has great news. I love this.
I love good news. I really do. I love it. Now, I don't go through the hard times. Everybody goes through hard times.
Yeah.
I don't care who it is. But there's always a good somewhere.
Right.
All we have to do is look for it.
So, and then, who was
I do have to ask you, Bernice.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to see, has she ever had to give a reading that made her uncomfortable?
I did not a reading, but I was in my office. I had felt really uneasy all day. And the front door opened and I felt terrible. Probably one of the most eerie feelings I had ever had. And it was a woman. Very dark hair, very dark looking. And she looked at me, right in my eyes. And honest to God, the words out of her mouth looked right at me and said, I want your soul. I said, you what? She said, I want your soul, and I'm going to have it. I said, oh, no, you're not, bitch. I said, no way.
I love Bernice.
I said, you're not getting me. I said, I'll get you before you ever do. I said, I'm a believer in God all the way. And needless to say, she said, I will be back. I said, you try. You try.
Team Bernice!
Needless to say, she left. I never prayed so hard my whole life. Oh, my God, did I pray for weeks. She never did come back.
Wow.
Never did. That was a time that I was definitely scared. I mean, scared. I'll never that day.
Wow.
Never. Wow.
Damn, that's not the answer I would expect. Wow.
Yeah. That was freaky.
That's pretty crazy. We have time for one more question, and then we gotta wrap it up because we've hit our hour. Dun dun dun.
Did you my number?
X-Group Home Kid asks, this is a good question, any general recommendations on forgiving and letting go?
Forgiving and letting go.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you give, you're not letting go. You're just sharing. You're getting a part of you. And as you realize that, that will always stay with you. So you know what? You've never really given away. Never.
Okay.
You're okay.
All right. Well, I guess that will do it for tonight for our show. Bernice, really want to thank you for coming out. We did have another question in there. It was scrolled up, but they were asking, when are you going to come back? The chat room has loved you.
Can I give my phone number?
Yeah. Any information you want to give out, go ahead.
Yeah.
Plug away.
688-0800, and I'm in Lockport, New York, and I do readings in my office here or by telephone from anywhere in the world. All you gotta do is give a call and find out what. We have 3 different readings available, and we'll give you all the information when you call. Prefer wait till 9 o'clock in the morning. Please.
Yeah. Yeah, let her sleep. Let her sleep a little bit, get some rest.
Okay.
So,
I'm going to be calling you, Bernice.
I sure hope so, honey. I'd love to come back on anytime.
Okay, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, we definitely love to have you back. What's your website they can find you at?
BerniceGolden.com.
There you go, BerniceGolden.com. I think that's pretty easy enough to figure out. There you go. All right, well, I do want to give some shout-outs from the chat room because you guys were very interactive tonight. A lot of great questions. So, of course, Shana, our chat Shananigator, my love, thank you so much for all the work you've done in the chat room tonight. Donna Gorton had some great questions, and so thank you. Mama Joe, thank you as well. Tammy Sifford, of course, one of our, and Donna Gorton as well, one of our new Cheshire Cats. Jen L, thank you, and thank you for loving the show. She says she loves the show. Awesome, thank you. Lynn's White, thank you as always. Robert White from Australia, thanks for dropping in. Jody Brewer, thank you for your questions tonight. Andrew Cox, I think it was one of the first ones in here tonight, so that's awesome. A half an hour before the show, our Mad Hatters, you guys are awesome. You're some dedicated folk, that is for sure. Ether Shadow, thank you for your questions tonight too. And who else do we have? Carrie Parrish, thank you as always. Jared Osborne was in there as well. And I think it was Sean. It's Actovision Paranormal. So I investigated with those guys this past Friday night. Great time. So there'll be a lot coming out from that on both sides on their channel. Go check them out, Actovision Paranormal. And I'm pretty sure it was Sean in there tonight. He's usually the one that's in here. Christy Witt, thank you. Julia Syracusa dropped in. Thank you for dropping in, Julia. X-Group Home Kid. Charmy Vapes and Fly, thank you as well. And Susan Brewer, thank you for dropping in tonight. And I think that's probably going to do it because I was scrolling up and seeing a lot of similarities. Yeah, there's a lot of people that were in the chat. And so if I missed your name, meaning no offense, it's just there are a lot of y'all in there tonight. So, and Vanessa, I just dropped a y'all, and I don't usually do that. You're rubbing off on me. All right. Well, Bernice, thank you again so much for joining us tonight. Really had a great time, and we'll love to have you back.
I had a great time. Thank you.
You're my hero.
Yeah.
You're my hero. I won't be home.
Good night, everybody. Till next time.